I'm in a cemetery. I'm gonna yap. And I'm gonna give you some useless Doctor Who knowledge. And I'm hoping that this will last about 10 minutes. Now, most of this knowledge will be coming straight from my head, so I'm willing to admit that some of it might be incorrect. Almost every actor to portray the Doctor was alive to see the 20th anniversary of the show in 1983. The only two that weren't were William Hartnell, who died in 1975, and Ncuti Gatwa, who was born in 1992, 9 years too late. The final story for the original run of the show featured three actors with the same birthday, August 20th. They were Anthony Ainley, Sylvester McCoy, and Sophie Aldred, the Doctor, the Companion, and the Master. During the early years of the show, fake skeletons weren't exactly convincing, so real skeletons were used, if need be. The first episode of the show, in 1963, was riddled with quite a few problems. Not only were the BBC not pleased with the script, so they had to reshoot the episode, something pretty much unheard of back then. The first episode broadcast was also overshadowed by the assassination of President John F. Kennedy the day before. During the classic run, Doctor Who was in the Marvel Universe. Yeah, Marvel made official Doctor Who comics, and he was part of the Marvel Multiverse. And he still is considered a Marvel character to some people. Staying in the world of comics, Doctor Who has had official crossover comics with Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah, that line in Space Babies doesn't seem so strange now, does it? Rather humorously, Colin Baker, who played the Sixth Doctor, appeared in a Doctor Who story where the Doctor was the Fifth Doctor, played by Peter Davison. His character shoots the Fifth Doctor, and both he and Davison have joked that he was trying to get his job early. The Doctor being a woman has been an idea that was suggested as far back as the moment when Tom Baker left. He suggested that the next person to play the Doctor could be a woman. Not joking. Slight break in the useless information because a ladybird landed on my arm. Nice. That wasn't supposed to happen. Now, the show regularly makes the different actors that played the Doctor meet up and join together, usually around anniversaries. However, there are quite a few actors of the Doctor that have met other versions of themselves, either evil clones, through time travel, people just happening to look like them, and the only ones that haven't are the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 12th. At least on screen. I don't know about expanded media, they've probably done it there, they do almost everything there. Doctor Who's approach to continuity is different to other things. While other franchises will have long, detailed plot summaries that you can probably find on YouTube, the approach Doctor Who takes is every single thing with the Doctor Who name on it is canon, even if it contradicts something else. And that is why the Time War exists, to explain any inconsistencies throughout the show. Which means that you can include fan-made content in the canon of Doctor Who, and it wouldn't matter. Hello? Hello there, Mr. Squirrel. Sorry, got distracted by the squirrels for a bit. Um, where was I? Alright. There is an actor that has appeared in Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Harry Potter, and that actor is Simon Pegg. However, his inclusion in Harry Potter is not in the films, it is in the video game Hogwarts Legacy. So, if you don't count that, oh well. Despite being one of Britain's most well-known shows, the Doctor has never been played by anyone from Wales or Northern Ireland. Leading on from the previous fact, excluding London, as almost half or more of them were born there, the place where the most Doctors have been born is Liverpool, with two of them, Tom Baker and Paul McGann. No actor to portray the Doctor in the classic era of the show has died since the show was revived in 2005. They all died during production of the classic era, or in the case of John Pertwee, during the production of the TV movie in 1996. There is a turn-based RPG on Game Jolt called Doctor Who: The Invasion of Minecraft here. It is a Doctor Who game inspired by Minecraft and has a soundtrack very inspired by Undertale. It's also how I was introduced to Undertale music. I don't know why this fact is going to be in this video, but it will be. The 2005 revival of the show is not allowed to reference events that happened in expanded media. However, they are allowed to do adaptations, which means that some events have happened twice in the Doctor Who timeline, and the Doctor has no memory of one of those events happening. Colin Baker is the only actor to be fired from playing the role of the Doctor, not because the producers didn't like him, but because the BBC higher-ups wanted someone to blame for the dipping viewing figures. Despite the fact that he only got 2 full seasons as the Doctor, he still managed to go up against the Master, the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Sontarans, and almost all of those were in his first season. Now, Classic Who, especially the 60s era of the show, is known for having its missing episodes because of the BBC's policy of junking things back then. However, it's not the only lost media of Doctor Who. The revival has a bit of lost media. With Christopher Eccleston's solitary series on the show, there was an alternate ending to his final episode made, and I think it was sent out to the press so that they wouldn't leak that Christopher Eccleston was leaving, even though it ended up being leaked anyway, and the BBC came up with some half-assed statement about Christopher Eccleston being tired, which got him blacklisted from the media industry, but I'm rambling. Well, this is Jessie Yaps, but anyway. That footage has never been released to the public. Only the ending where he regenerates has been. So we don't know what that would look like. And I'm not even sure if we have the script for it. So, the classic era's cancellation was done incredibly last minute. And the BBC never officially said it was cancelled. They said, it'll come back at some point. And they promised the 90s and it didn't really work out that way. But it was so last minute that the closing monologue that the final episode ends on was only recorded the day after the third to last episode broadcast. So it was basically recorded little under 2 weeks before the show ended. Madness. That closing monologue was also recorded on the show's 26th anniversary, November 23rd, 1989. So, I don't know if that was a sign or what that it would come back, but certainly an odd coincidence. 2 of the 3 showrunners for the revival have got Doctor Who props in their garden. Russell T Davies has a Dalek, and Stephen Moffat has a Weeping Angel. There was an odd pattern with Doctor Who from 2014 to 2020, where every other season would end with the Master teaming up with the Cybermen. Series 8, Series 10 and Series 12 all have a finale focusing on the Master teaming up with the Cybermen. It's so odd. Despite the fact that the Daleks are most well known for Doctor Who, they are not the enemy that appeared the most in the classic era. That would be the Master. The Daleks only had 15 or 16 appearances depending on how you count things, whereas the Master had 17 or 18 depending on what you think of the War Chief. And the last fact for this video is I did all this on a whim, and Doctor Who is probably my favourite show ever. Not much of an interesting fact, but they're not supposed to be.